Welcome back to Attacking Third. United States Women's National Team 23-player roster for the SheBelieves Cup is out. And one of the youngest players to be called in since 2017, midfielder for Ajax in the Netherlands, Lily Yohannes. She is a 16-year-old from Springfield, Virginia. She moved to the Netherlands with her family about 6 years ago when she was 10 years old. She's playing in Champions League with Ajax. She's getting a lot of international experience. She's played for youth U.S. national teams. But she is called into this roster for Twyla Kilgore. Of course, Emma Hayes also has a touch on this. Do you like this call-up, Sandra, with Lily Yohannes?
Yeah, I love it. I think maybe next to Macario and Swanson getting back in, I think this is the player that I'm also most excited about. And it was evident in the press conference as well, kind of sitting in with Kilgore as she was taking a number of questions. I believe we were 4 questions into the press conference, and 3 of them were about Yohannes. So rightfully so. This is a player that has kind of leapt on a lot of people's radars in terms of what she's been doing for Ajax in the Champions League. Major tournaments like that will attract a lot of casual eyeballs, right? So and I'm appreciative of it. I like that this is a player that people are excited about and that she's getting a lot of questions. I thought Kilgore did a good job of handling a lot of the questions around her.
Yeah, so in this presser, Henry Bushell of Yahoo Sports actually asked specifically about Lily Yohannes, why it's her first time in the national team camp, her development, and when she first came on the radar. And Twyla Kilgore gave a great answer. So take a listen.
So Lily's actually been a part of U.S. Soccer's radar for a long time. She's been a member of our U15 and 16 squads. She's only 16 now, so there's a relevance there. We've actually invited her in recently to U17 camps and things like that. Based on her club schedule, it fell outside of a official window, and they were in Champions League, so she wasn't able to participate. Had she participated, perhaps she would have gone on to World Cup qualifiers and things like that. But for us, we've just been following her for quite a long time. She's played many, many games for Ajax, including Champions League games, which I think the public is more familiar with, but we're also able to follow along in the league. We've been looking at and playing, quite a few different sixes, looking at different combinations and things like that. And Lily's somebody that can play 6, 8, or 10. She does for her club. And while we look to deepen the player pool with those that can play kind of in variety of different roles within the midfield positions, she's somebody that comes to mind. And we had the space and availability in camp to bring her in. This was the right time to do so.
Lily Yohannes brought into this camp along with Corbin Albert, who also plays in Champions League right now with PSG, Sam Coffey, Lindsay Horan, also in Champions League with Lyon, Olivia Moultrie, and Emily Sonnet. So Lily Yohannes rounding out that 6 players in the midfield, and Twyla Kilgore being very specific in basically why they wanted to bring her in. She's versatile, Sandra. She can play in the 6, she can play in the 10, she can play in the 8. And that's what we also saw with Corbin Albert. The U.S. wants to utilize these players in the midfield to have more fluidity, because Corbin Albert plays in the 6 and 8 and the 10. Lindsay Horan has also played in a variety of those positions. I think we're actually taking steps towards having players that maybe are more versatile in different positions, whether it's even outside back, outside forward, center back as a 6. That way the U.S. can flux in between different systems and different formations, because it's so much easier as a player if you can play those different roles and you understand that you're now changing responsibilities, because that's ultimately what it comes down to. When you're a 6 and playing the defensive midfield role, you have to be a little bit more conservative. You have to plug holes. Your job is to switch the point of attack. I mean, your job changes. As a 10, you have a lot more freedom to go forward, to interchange with your forwards. The 10 is the attacking midfielder, one of the most attacking players in the midfield. So that is, to me, a really big part of why we're now seeing players like Corbin Albert and Lily Yohannes being brought into this roster. So do you think we could see Lily Yohannes in these matches?
Look, I want to see it. There's a Champions League quarterfinal that's happening this week, and unfortunately, Yohannes is not going to be in the mix of that. She picked up that yellow in the first leg of the quarterfinal against Chelsea. The yellow card accumulation means that she's out. this is a player that'll probably, that was maybe hoping would have an extra game on her schedule, is not going to have that. And maybe that's going to benefit the United States in the She Believes Cup. I'm here for it. And I'm here for, you know, Twyla Kilgore, talking about it and being transparent about things with, when it comes to player recruitment, essentially, how Yohannes has actually been on the United States radar for quite some time, having been part of those youth national teams, how they wanted to have her be part of perhaps the U17 squad and run there, but unfortunately unable to. And I like that she said, listen, the truth is there's some misreporting out there. She actually does not have a Netherlands passport at this time. But, that doesn't mean that she won't be eligible for one. She's more than eligible to obtain that. But for now, this is obviously, an invite into things, and it's a continuation of conversations that have clearly already been happening. And I think for some folks, I think that is maybe what is a new light that has been shed on this particular player.
Yeah, that's a really good point you make. Because of her, Lily Yohannes, living in the Netherlands, there's been a lot of talk about, hey, can she play for both national teams? So confirmed as of right now.
Yeah, but
no. As of right now, no.
Sure.
Yes.
But right now, no.
And also, similarly, because She Believes Cup is just friendly tournament, this will not cap tie her to the United States either, because they are just friendly. So she's really leaving the door open for her to do whatever. But it sounds like she's been involved at the youth levels with the United States, and she probably wants to continue in that direction if she's 16 and getting her first call up to the national at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm here for it. I think I love, look, it's an important shot that you make, notating her different abilities on the ball in different positions. That's where we're at in the game right now. It's not about, there's still going to be that angle of like, who's going to be the 9 or who's going to be your 6. And it's like, of course, that's always going to be part of it. But I think when it comes to building up towards major tournaments, that versatility kind of comes into play a little bit more when coaching staffs ask those questions of themselves and when it comes to roster building. So, can you bring in a player that you have envisioned to play your 8 or your 6 or your 9? Sure. But you're also asking yourself the question, are they able to play across that line? Are they able to play across positions? And this is a young player, but has shown an incredible talent so far, and I think the ceiling is very, very high for her.
Yeah, one of just 3 teenagers to be called into this roster. Lily Yohannes at 16 years old, Olivia Moultrie also called in, and then Jaden Shaw. So a lot of youth on this roster, and
a lot of creativity as well. I love it.
Yes. So much creativity. Just imagine like Lily Yohannes as a player, watching her with Ajax and mostly in Champions League. I'll be honest. She's very creative on the ball. She doesn't get flustered. She's very composed. And to have that maturity at 16, playing in Champions League against giants of the game is incredibly impressive, because Ajax right now in this quarterfinal leg, they're playing against Chelsea, who has won everything and anything. So it's been really impressive to watch her. She hasn't necessarily gotten on the score sheet stats wise, but it's so much of what Yohannes does off the ball to combine really well with the players. She's got a good vision to go forward. She gets really stuck into tackles, and she looks impressive, and she plays years beyond her age when she's playing on the pitch. It's very fun to watch. I hope she gets minutes at the She Believes Cup, but even if she doesn't, right, being called into this camp, I think it'll help her and her development and give a better understanding for Kilgore and hopefully Emma Hayes in those conversations about what this midfield of this United States can look like going forward, and specifically at the 2024 Paris Olympics coming up.